Welcome back, YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Swardik Mayanja, and on this channel I bring you news, current events, and fun topics for nurses everywhere. And today I've got quite the lineup for you, so let's just jump right on in.
Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
So for the first story of the day, we're talking about these racist textbooks in nursing school. These nursing school textbooks that people are losing their minds over. Alright, so before we even jump into it, let me just say calm the hell down. It ain't that serious. It just ain't that serious. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what happened. So mass-produced book, and fun fact, I used, I think, a volume, a type. When I was in nursing school, we did this concept-based book. It was from Pearson, and I'm pretty sure it was the same type of book. It looks like the same goddamn thing, but we used obviously a previous volume. I don't think it's the current volume. I did not go check in my nursing textbook. I never want to see my nursing textbook ever again. But with these mass-produced nursing textbooks in their culture and diversity section, where they were trying to be culturally sensitive and they were trying to show what other cultures feel specific when it comes to pain, how they respond to pain. This is what they decided to put in their textbooks. Now, you tell me if this is pushing crazy, insane stereotypes, or if this is actually culturally sensitive. Let's find out. So, number one, Jews may be vocal in demand assistance. Yeah, Jews. Not Orthodox Jews, not Jews in the Bronx, not Jews in Israel, just Jews. Jews everywhere may just vocalize and demand assistance. Okay, all right. Blacks. Yep, that's all it is. Blacks often report higher pain intensity than other cultures. Are you talking about blacks in Ghana? Are you talking about blacks in South America? Are you talking about blacks in South Africa, in Uganda, and African American blacks? Which kind of blacks are you talking about? Because there's billions of blacks in this goddamn planet. Who knows? Only Pearsons. Let me just finish this out because it's just insane. Indians who follow Hindu practices believe that pain must be endured in preparation for a better life in the next cycle. Okay? Arabs may not request pain medicine, but instead thank Allah for pain if it is the result of a healing medical process. Okay? Hispanics may believe that pain is a form of punishment and that suffering must be endured if they are to enter heaven. Native-Americans may prefer to receive medications that have been blessed by a tribal shaman. Okay, so they do put that caveat in each and every statement that they use, and they say may. A Hispanic may feel this way. A black may say this. A Jew may do this. It doesn't matter. This is fucking bullshit. All right, so let me just, just a shout out to all nursing students out there. Just skip this section, right? Just don't even skim it. Don't even look at it because this is absolutely ridiculous. This is never going to be on the NCLEX. So outside of that specific nursing professor that's insane that wants to test you on this craziness, but this is not going to be on the NCLEX. So you don't need to know this, number one. Number two, when you actually are a nurse, I don't give a shit if you were the professor of African studies and you know Uganda's history and the culture and the people like the back of your goddamn hand, right? If you go into a room as a nurse and you ask a patient that's from that culture, wherever you know the best in the human world, you know that culture, right? And you ask that person, or you just assume you know what that person feels, it's going to be wrong. 99.9% of the time you are going to be wrong if you just assume based on your wealth of knowledge, right? So this is obviously bullshit. The correct thing to do when you're doing cultural and diversity and, that whole sensitivity bullshit, the best thing to do is ask the goddamn person. No matter what they say, no matter how they say it, right? If they actually say it, and if you want to talk to them, if someone is refusing pain medication because of a cultural thing, try to ask them why and go through that with them. It doesn't matter where they're from, right? You can make all the assumptions you want, but just use your clinical judgment. You look at a patient, Jew, black, white, Native American, whatever, they oohing, ahhing, guarding, they in pain, their legs cut off, they bleeding out their goddamn legs, right? And you say, are you in pain? Would you like some pain meds? And they say, while they're crying and biting on the towel, and they say, no, I'm in no pain. You can explain to them, it's not necessary for you to go through this pain. If it's a cultural thing, gotta respect it. But it doesn't matter. This entire section is bullshit, right? This entire section, I never understood, right? Because every patient you talk to, you're going to ask them specifically and pull out all the information you can from them. So making these assumptions based on cultural norms, wrap this bullshit up. Let's just wrap it up. Wrap it up. All right. Moving on. I had enough of that BS. Okay. This is exciting. I think this is a little questionable. I don't even know how I feel. That's a lie. I know how I feel. I know exactly how I feel about this. So, if you are planning on going to Hawaii, if you're from Hawaii, from Honolulu, living the dream, you know, or if you're planning on going there soon for your vacay, your honeymoon, whatever the reason you're going to Hawaii, just make sure you aren't texting and walking down the street, crossing them crosswalks, because you can now get fined starting this week, the week of October 25th. Starting this week, you can get fined for looking at your cell phone while you cross a crosswalk. I think this is I think another insane, ridiculous, stupid idea, right? This doesn't make any sense. So it says the National Safety Council reports distracted walking injuries are on the rise. Okay. So, distracted walking injuries. It doesn't say specifically looking at your phone. So, if I'm eating a pizza and I trip over something while I'm walking, does that count as a distracted walking injury? Of course it does, right? But no one's making it illegal to eat while you cross the crosswalk. I honestly believe, I know people are losing their minds over their cell phones. It's like taking over everyone's attention. No one's, having these human conversations anymore. But I think that's bullshit. I just think people found a way to talk to who they want to talk to the way they want to talk to. And this device, obviously there's pros and major cons from using this device all day, every day. Right? Do I believe it's bad to have less human communication and, all that stuff? Obviously, I do. I'm a talker. I talk all day, every day. I love talking to people. But for me to tell someone that while you're walking, you can't look at your phone, that's no, absolutely not. When you're in a car and you can getting distracted, you could do actual damage. The worst thing, absolute worst thing that you can do while you're walking, looking at your phone, is bump into someone and apologize 2 seconds later, right? If you're running at full speed looking at your phone, yeah, that's a goddamn problem. But who the hell does that? We're talking about walking, right? Outside of bumping into another human being, all the damage, all of the problems are going to be by yourself. It's going to happen to yourself. Right? It's going to be you, right? You're going to walk into a street and get hit by a car. That must really suck. And no, I never want that to happen. But that's no one's fault but that own person's, right? The reason we don't let people go into a car and look at these phones is because they can hurt more than just themselves, right? So when you can hurt just yourself, it is a problem, but you should have that right to hurt yourself. If you want to hurt yourself, go ahead and hurt yourself. Right? I'm not promoting suicide. I'm saying this is accidental, obviously. If you're going to hurt yourself accidentally by eating too much food or running, in a crazy mountain or doing flips or anything like that, you're going to hurt yourself. No one's going to make that illegal, right? Doing stupid shit shouldn't be illegal. It should just be looked down upon, and you should tell the goddamn person, stop being stupid. When you cross in the crosswalk, look up so you don't kill someone. Kill yourself. So moving on to another phone techie nursing conversation here. The number one contributor to these phones, to this obsession that we have with this in America specifically, is probably Apple. They're the big guns. Everyone has an iPhone, and if you don't have an iPhone, you have something Apple in your house, and that's not the goddamn point. The point of this next story is that in Lynchburg College, this is in West Virginia, earns Apple Distinguished School title for Ion Nursing. And what the hell is Ion Nursing? I have never heard of this. Well, this school in Lynchburg, West Virginia, they use, it's a college. In this college, in the nursing program, they use Apple products. And they don't just use it to let me look at someone's body part. They actually use it throughout the entire program. They use it for their textbooks. They use it for, going on, pretending that they're on the MAR, the EMAR, and all this cool stuff, which I think is absolutely legit. So let me just read you directly from the article. The program allows sophomores majoring in nursing to get iPad devices. Students use electronic textbooks and apps to learn and visualize internal anatomy and procedures. They also use the devices to practice working with electronic records, a must-have skill for today's nurses, which I think is 1,000% correct. Outside of my clinicals, I really didn't do much of the EMAR stuff in actual class, in the actual, when you playing with the dummies and shit. We did very little of that in school, which I think we should have had, like in our informatics class. There should have been a portion of that class where you try different types of EMRs, right? We're not like the Omnicell and all of that stuff. I think that should have been integrated, which is hard to do if you don't have phones and iPads, but now we do. And as a nurse, the amount of time you are looking at a screen as a nurse is probably more time than you will spend with a patient. That's just the fact of today. Documentation, 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 and all of your documentation, if you are going into a facility that has, is with the current system, is going to be on a computer, it's going to be on an iPad, it's going to be on a mobile device, it's going to be on some type of technology, and that's just a fact. So this is super important, and I love that this is happening. And in college, when I was in school, I had my iPad, and I had all of my nursing textbooks on that iPad, which I have to say, 1,001%. I know people out there, and I myself even got really frustrated while I was studying, because I love that highlighting, because I feel like I'm actually learning more when I'm highlighting in the actual textbook. But I made it through nursing school, so obviously it works. You're right, obviously it works. But me going into school with my iPad mini, instead of the 9 textbooks that weighed 1,000 pounds a piece every single day, lugging that shit around to every library I'm going to when I need to study, it probably saved my back, but that shit failed real quick when I'm at work right now. Anyways, I'm sure it saved my back. I'm 1,000% sure it saved my back, because those books were goddamn big. Huge. A little bit of racial content, and a little bit of unsensitive content in them. But I did have it on my iPad mini, which was probably like less than a pound and a half, compared to the textbooks, which probably weighed altogether maybe 30 to 40 pounds. Like literally, those textbooks were heavy as fuck. So when they asked the school about it, they responded, an important part of the Lynchburg experience in student engagement, said Sally Selden, Vice President and Dean for the Academic Affairs. We're proud of the way the nursing program has applied technology to engage students, and we're pleased that Apple recognizes the quality education we provide. And this is true. It doesn't matter how you get your information. I just think this is just one step ahead of the game. These students are going to have to learn how to use technology. And if you're a student today, especially on the younger age, you know how to use, everyone knows how to use technology today. But when it comes to these specific nursing MARs and how to document when it comes to these, medical informatics, companies and stuff, it is really, 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 really helpful, because for every orientation you do as a nurse, I promise you this, every orientation you do as a nurse, I promise you, your job goes from taking 3 hours in the beginning, from documenting on your patients, 3 hours like a day, to taking up to an hour, just because you're getting used to the system, because it makes more sense, because you understand it intuitively, you know what clicks where you can find what information. So if you get to learn the basics, the bare bones, right, just the basement level of information from the majority of the most used MARs and EMARs around the world, around the country that you're in, this would be very, very helpful. I think that would be super helpful. And once you get one of them, you really do get all of them. It's just different clicks and different places for different information. But most of the ones I've used personally have been the same. So moving forward to the nurse of the week. And oh my, Olivia, you got this one. You nurse of the goddamn year. I absolutely love. So this is a video of Olivia, a nurse that was singing to a terminally ill patient, her favorite song, and it just took my heart away. It's a beautiful thing. You watch it, and then we'll do the background right after.
Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir.
Oh my God. Oh, that's just beautiful. Just beautiful. I mean, there's nothing more than just beautiful. I love that. So the patient in the bed, Margaret Smith, really sad story. She's only 63 years old. After she got diagnosed with cancer, they wanted to do a transplant on her, but they found her to be way too sick and that she would not survive a transplant surgery. So she's just terminal right now, and she's on her way to go. And what this nurse decided to do on such a sad and horrific, mind you, she's 63, right? 63 is the new 50. She's young. You know, people at 63 are still working full-time jobs, taking care of family members, kids. At 63, your parents are still alive, right? This is not, 63 ain't old. It's just not anymore. It's just not. So her daughter, Megan, recorded this whole thing happening, Nurse Olivia singing to her mom, and put it on Facebook, and this video just blew the hell up. I mean, the video has more than 2.8 million views currently. It's been shared over 55,000 times, has more than 40,000 likes. And when Megan, the daughter, was asked about the situation, she said, "This nurse sat with my mom for hours while the medicine from 2 months of anesthesia, and sang a very special song to my sweet mother to comfort her. You never left her side by choice," the post read. "Your words cannot describe the appreciation and love we feel for Nurse Olivia, who Mom calls her angel." Oh, that's just the sweetest thing ever. "Your dedication to your patients is beyond any that I have ever seen. You're truly a beam of light, and I cannot thank you enough for the compassion and care that you've shared with my mother." And I mean, when it comes to caring, when it comes to, I mean, like, this is bedside manner at its goddamn best, right? It just doesn't get any better than this, right? Mind you, if you can't sing, don't go ahead singing for patients. It might do the opposite effect, and you know, if you can't sing, you can't. Not every nurse can sing, and that's not what our jobs is. Our jobs is to care for the patient the best way we know how. So if a patient has a favorite song and you play it for them, bing, bang, boom, you already goddamn winning, right? You're already winning. If a patient just wants a picture or likes to draw and is a terminal, it doesn't matter how you do it. If you take that extra step, if you take that step where it's not literally on your task list, where you have to give them this med, or you have to help them change their brief, or you have to, you know, change your wound dressing, or do a, you know, whatever the task is, IVs, who gives a shit? Whatever the task is, if you take that extra step into making them feel a little bit comfortable in the situation that no one wants to be sick, no one wants to be ill, no one wants to be terminal, no one wants to lose a family member. If you take that extra step and just make them a little more comfortable, feel a little more comfortable about the situation, talk them through the situation, that is what nursing's about. Fuck the skills, fuck the meds. All of that stuff is knowledge. All of that stuff you need to know. All of that stuff is insanely important, because the caring doesn't work if you are doing all of that stuff wrong. But once you're done with that stuff, that's where the nursing actually happens. Because all of that stuff can be done. That stuff is just walk through. You can have a robot do all of that stuff. But you can't care. Compassion is what we do, is what we are as nurses. So, Olivia, Nurse of the Week, congratulations. It's a beautiful, wonderful, wonderful job. I think that it just doesn't get any better. It just doesn't. I want to just talk about, just real quick, this has nothing to do with nursing, but I bet you nurses do know and would have some opinion on this, specifically Amazon Key. The question is, would you let the delivery man open your door and deliver your Amazon goodies inside? Yes, inside your house. I know I would. I'm ready for this. Like, I've been waiting for this. In fact, I want this to go even a step further. But before we even get there, let me tell you what's going on today. So right now, Amazon is doing this new thing where they're just letting more Amazon Prime members, which I am, and which I know millions of you are, because it's the greatest thing ever, letting Amazon Prime members buy this contraption where you put on your door, where it's a special key lock, and it has a camera on it as well, so you can record everything that's going on. But this key lock would allow the delivery guy, the delivery man, delivery woman, whoever it is, to come up to your door. They have their device, whatever they're using, probably a phone. They get a specific code which only works for that one specific time. They open the door. They're only allowed to put the package into the door, then close it. And once they get that code, the camera starts, so you see everything that happens. They just open the door and then put the package in, close the door behind them, and that's it. Anything goes missing, there's only one code for that door that person had, and we know who that person is, right? And I am all 1,000% chips all in. I do believe that 90% of Amazon Prime members that do have the money to buy that lock will be doing this moving forward, because the worst thing about getting Amazon things, buying things online, is just waiting for it to come. When it does come, if you don't know it's there because you weren't there, and they have to take it away to the post office, which blows because it's too big to live in front of your house, or if you do leave it in front of the house and it's snowing, or if it's raining, or it's hailing, or whatever, or it is bad weather, your shit gets broken and then you have to ship it back to get a new one, which is a hassle. Or the worst thing ever is if the package gets in front of your house, you don't have a camera, some random bum steals it and goes, and you just don't have an answer to it. That's a huge hassle. So this solves all of it in one swell swoop. The person just puts the package inside the goddamn house, locks the door behind them. Everybody wins. You get to see everything that happens. Of course do I want some random human being going into my house and looking at my stuff, touching my... No, of course not. Never. But there's a camera. There's only one key lock that only works for one time. It's not like they get to go home and like, oh, I know the password to whoever's house, and I'm going to go in there and steal their stuff. No, it ends up disappearing literally the moment that they get there. The moment that they shut the door, and if anything does go missing, and there's obviously going to be some stupid motherfucker who decides, I'm going to go inside this person's house and steal some random shit. And if they do that, there's only one code. There's only one delivery man that's had that code. There's going to be the camera on the entire time. So you will know who it is. The probability of you having your stuff returned, getting that person caught, getting, some justice served to that dumb human being, very, very high. Very, very high. Question of the day for y'all: would you let this happen if you have Amazon? If you don't have Amazon, and if you knew the security was as I explained, would you allow people to bring their stuff into your house? Literally just put it in the house, close the door right behind them. I know I will. In fact, I would go even further. Once Amazon bought Whole Foods, I was like, yay. And I do Amazon Fresh, which means that they deliver groceries, actual groceries, like produce, things that go bad, and they put it in these ice bags and stuff. I love it. I think it's the greatest thing ever. Yes, I'm lazy as hell, but I love that entire process where they deliver my goodies to my door. Amazing. But if you've ever done it, you know it comes with all this huge packaging. I can't wait till they offer a premium service where they let the delivery guy with the produce put it in the fridge, because I don't want to deal with all of that packaging. I don't. I know that's taking it a very, very far step forward, and very few people would trust randos in the house. I think I would. I mean, if there's cameras all over, I don't give a shit. You go ahead, you do it. If anything's missing, eyes on you. But that's my personal belief. Tell me, what do you feel? Would you let a stranger go into your house and deliver your goodies? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and have that conversation with me. I am super excited. Moving forward, deuces.